Hey guys, and welcome to a podcast where we interview top-level executives inside leading and growing companies in the IT and cybersecurity space. We're excited to have our guest today, Ross Meglathery. Hopefully I said that right, but we'll be diving into his story, some engaging insights into the IT and cybersecurity industry. And I'll go ahead and just kick it off to you, Ross. If you could just introduce yourself, tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at Intratech.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, you didn't pronounce it right, my last name, but you did choose the number one wrong way to say my name. So it's Ross Meglathery. It kind of sounds like it used to be Mick. So anyway, Ross Meglathery. Yeah. And we're called Integritech, which we inherited the name. So it's integrity with technology. So that's how we came to the name Integritech. Yeah. My background. Yeah, kind of all over the place, seemingly. I started out after college. I went into the Marine Corps, and I did that for several years. Did a United Nations military observer tour, did Iraq a few times. And then when I got out, I initially went into consulting, and I was doing mostly in the national security, defense, and intelligence realm. At some point, I realized that I didn't have enough of a background for what I was doing, so I got a master's in the management of information technology, and continued with that for a little while. And then I kind of wanted to give a little bit more back to society beyond. So I was doing the Marine Corps Reserve still, which I'm a colonel in the Marine Corps Reserve still. So I went and got a master in public administration, and I led a veteran service organization for a little while. So I was lobbying for benefits for veterans that they earn through their service, and also running the day-to-day of the veteran service organization. And I was also the board president of a nonprofit that I volunteer work where I did. We did clean water, sanitation, and clean energy in Sierra Leone and Kenya for school children. And so I did that until COVID killed us. And then I went back to school and I got a master in business administration. And so I shifted from the public sector, or at least working with federal government clients. My last job before Integritech was I ran the public sector practice of Berlitz, so the language and cultural company. So anything related to the government clientele that was in my portfolio. And then I wanted to make a shift into the private sector. And so I'm working at Integritech, and we're a managed service provider for small and mid-sized businesses. And so what we like to do is we like to partner with companies so that we can provide their help that they need so they can focus on what they care the most about, because every business is to some degree at this point in time, for the most part, is really an information technology company that does something else. And so we come in and we just help them focus on what they care about. We take care of the IT needs, essentially. And so we can get into further about who that is, the clientele, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I love your background. I love that it's so diverse and you have so many different teachings along the way, right? You're able to kind of start with the Marine Corps and kind of get that almost discipline, right? And I think, first of all, thank you for your service. It's a commendable, always commendable. We always like to say we love our veterans, we love the people who serve in our country. So thank you for that. But the second thing that I wanted to touch on, I was curious as, why IT? Why cybersecurity? What was it that kind of sparked that initial interest into wanting to go into this field?
Yeah, well, it was kind of, I think it was destined to be. I guess destiny. It was inexorable. I guess my mother and my father, and even my stepfather and my brother have all been in IT to some degree. So it was my mother and father doing electronic data processing. My mom has been in the cybersecurity, the contingency planning, business continuity world since the early 70s. My father was a systems programmer on mainframe computers. Stepfather was a consultant, and my brother Ryan Meglathery, he's been doing cybersecurity and doing IT stuff since he was a teenager, breaking our computers, et cetera. So I guess it was meant to be. But what fascinated me about IT is kind of the world is driven by it right now, and and technology can go in so many different directions. So I just really find it fascinating, and I was looking for something a little bit different too, because working in the military and then nonprofits, and then I even did a fellowship as a Marine for a member of Congress. It was the opposite of IT and technologically savvy. And so I did my IT management degree and then went straight to Capitol Hill, where I was printing out letters from constituents to the for the congressman. He would mark it up. I would take it back, I'd retype it and then send it out. So it's like, wow. So anyway, the possibilities of IT I just found fascinating. So
Yeah, no, and I agree. It's always. I feel like every single time I bring someone on, we're talking. It seems to me as if they didn't choose the IT and cybersecurity route. It kind of like it chose them, right?
yeah,
It found the way to come to you. So that's awesome.
yeah.
But I am, curious as to obviously, you've been in the industry for a little bit. You've kind of seen some evolution of different trends inside IT. I'm curious, what do you think is top of mind for you in terms of the trends that are happening right now inside the IT market, and something that maybe you're keeping your eyes on?
Well, certainly, obviously, hearing a lot about AI and machine learning. That's top of mind. Everybody's using ChatGPT to do stuff, et cetera. So that's certainly out there, and that's a whole different topic to go into what the future looked like, and is it scary? Is it good or bad, et cetera. Cybersecurity, though, that's a big thing too, because I think I think traditionally in the past it was just like, you have a good antivirus and it was a little bit more passive maybe. And I think right now it's important to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to cybersecurity, doing a lot of training, and that's for our clients. It's important. Small and mid-sized businesses are kind of hit with an outsized risk of cybersecurity incidents, especially ransomware, and then also probably like business related emails through phishing incidents, et cetera. And so being proactive, really getting people trained up, being focused on that, realize there are malign characters out there trying to do damage, and the costs for the small mid-sized businesses. I mean, 500,000 and higher, et cetera. So that's really kind of top of mind when we work with our partners to really be prepared for that, making sure that they have the right cybersecurity insurance as well. That's important for them. So, and understanding what they have and what they might need.
No, I agree. I think those are all very important points that it's important to kind of be looking at, right? Like you said, there's so many different things that are happening in cybersecurity. The threat actors are becoming more sophisticated now, and it's how are you defending yourself against these new attacks that are coming out, and making sure that you have the proper infrastructure in place and incident response plans in place to make sure that you're being able to protect yourself. I did want to now take the chance to kind of ask you a little bit about, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but Intratech. Am I saying this right?
Integritech, yeah.
Intratech. We off camera we tried like 5 times to get it right. I still can't get it right, but
Yeah.
we tried. But why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your company and kind of what you guys are currently doing in the space?
Yeah, so Integritech is a managed service provider, as we've talked about, and so our key clientele are companies, small and mid-sized businesses, usually about 20 to 80 personnel, but we have people on both ends of that, and we partner with companies, and I say partner because I think a lot of people think of managed service provider, they're IT guys that, hey, my computer's broken or I need a password reset, and it's very reactive. We don't approach things like that. And so it is kind of a commoditized industry, you'd think, because there's so many people that offer that. But we really, we come with technical skills, certainly, but the company at Integritech also focused really on business in general terms. The CEO, Ward All, former investment banker, also a fellow Marine Force Recon guy, but Harvard Business School, really sharp and savvy. So business oriented himself. Our CFO, Ryan, CPA, Stanford Business School, general manager, David Spencer, worked with a lot of really impressive companies in the past. So we have people that really understand business, not just the IT side of things. And so when we start looking at companies, we try to partner with them so to understand, hey, what does your business look like? What does it look like in the next year? What do you think it's going to look like in the next 5 years? Really understand what they want to do. And then we help try to provide tailored ideas and plans for them so that they can budget appropriately. A company should be probably spending about 2 to 5% of revenue on their IT infrastructure. And what that allows us to do is it's deliberate planning. They understand what their spend is going to be. It keeps their IT systems evergreen, so there aren't any surprises. So yes, we do make sure the passwords are taken care of, everything's up and working. But if they're budgeted with up-to-date equipment, we're helping plan ahead with what the trends that we're seeing. We can really let them focus on what they care about the most and provide that peace of mind that their IT is taken care of. And so we work these clients, we have them for years, and some of the industries we work with, healthcare, law firms, construction, architecture, design, nonprofits. So we work with professional services companies that need IT to enable their work, but it's not the only thing that they do.
Awesome, awesome, yeah. And I think you make a good distinction in kind of what you guys really offer. But I'm curious as to where do you think when a company comes and engages with you guys, where do they maybe get the most value from?
The most value they get is a partner that's got their back. They don't have to make the decisions on the IT. We're collaborative with them. We explain why we think they need to spend the money on these certain things, and then how that they can plan ahead. So I think where we really our competitive advantage is that we really help them plan out their business future. So we look at the next year, look at the next 5 years, so that they can they have the peace of mind and comfort that their IT systems aren't going to go down. So they don't have to worry about that from a financial perspective. They know what money to put ahead for the future for their IT. And they know that they're going to have a company that puts a lot of investment in our own training for our teams. We're also established with like a pod system, so that the teams that we have that work with our clients, they know the client's business and they know them intimately. So we don't just, it's not like traditional MSPs might just say, hey, that guy on the service desk is going to help that company, and she's going to help this company randomly, but then the next day work with somebody else. The way we're established is that we have pods that have certain businesses in the portfolio that they know very well. So they know the people that they're talking to, both sides. We go out there, we meet them. And so it's a very personalized experience, and it's a tailored experience.
Awesome. And I think that's a great point, right? I think that's where I see a lot of managed service providers do really well inside their industry, or really well, against other, because there's so much, like you said, it's a commoditized offer. But I think the way that you can position yourself, and if you position yourself as a partner, right, which you should be, right, you should be a partner inside their company that is going to accelerate, technological growth with them, and make sure that it's aligned with their business goals. And I think that is a really important key factor in what separates your company from other companies, right? Because sometimes people just come in there and they say, okay, we just fix computers, or we just fix things, right? But they're not aligned with their company and their long-term vision. So that's a great point, and I love that you brought that up as well.
Yeah, our leadership, our team in general is very curious. So we like working with people. We're pretty extroverted, and we're just interested in the businesses that our partners actually have going on. It's fascinating, and so I think that kind of helps us too. Like I said, be curious. It's important for us to kind of have that mindset instead of being kind of static and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think I wanted to take the time now to maybe transition a little bit from obviously what you guys are doing, but a little bit to more about, your job role as the CRO, right?
Yep.
The challenges, what are some of the challenges that come with, the title? Because I know it's obviously, it's not easy, right? So if you could just maybe enlighten the audience what you think some of the things that you go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, certainly. As a chief revenue officer, you kind of have a bunch of different areas that kind of feed into you. So I think one of the biggest complicating factors about that is that you're looking at sales, you're looking at like product, you're looking at client success, you're looking at the marketing of things. And so you have all these different various things kind of coming together in one person who kind of acts like the belly button. And so one of the challenges that you face is, where do you spend your limited time to make the business perform better? And so it's obvious that the intent is to make the business successful, to support us internally, but then also to support our clients in the right way. And so I think I would say that's a big challenge for a chief revenue officer in general, because you kind of have they're related, but they're still disparate entities and lines of operations that tie into you.
Definitely, and I would agree. I think that it's a very complex role, right? Because you're obviously in charge of kind of both of the growth revenue, growth pushing buttons inside the company, right? The sales and the marketing side. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper. What are those, real sales and marketing challenges that you experience inside your business?
I would say one of the big things is that, I say that it seems like it's kind of a commoditized industry. So one of the challenges that you face, like, we internally know that we've got amazing talent, we've got amazing leadership, we've got amazing vision, we've got the skill sets, but getting that information out, so that, because oftentimes people, they're just focused, especially now in the economy, they're looking at cost savings. And so there's no such thing as a cheap tool, because if you buy the cheap tool, you've got to keep breaking and you got to buy a new one. And so kind of getting through to that is that you're paying us to work with you to do certain things, but you're also getting a little bit more. And so just trying to make sure that we can kind of get ahead of the competition and bring that awareness out there is a challenge.
Definitely. Yeah. What advice would you give other CROs or other people who are in those growth oriented positions that's kind of helped you along the way?
I think one thing is to maybe emphasize not just the product, but the people that you have and the skill sets that they bring. Because I think the people and the team we have, it's not just like that kind of the break fix mentality. It really is that we invest a lot in their individual training. They're excited to get certifications, etc. And so I think if you can really kind of focus on the team, the one thing that I've always done, and that's kind of consistent throughout my history, and that I've really liked, is working with teams with different skill sets, but kind of bringing them together so that they're greater than the sum of the individual parts. And so I think that's something to emphasize and something to put a focus in on.
Definitely. One more thing I wanted to ask on that subject was, what type of mindset do you really think is needed to be a top performer or to be a CRO at a company? What would you say that you really need in terms of a mindset and beliefs?
Well, certainly I would say from my mindset is, and once again, I've weaved this throughout my career in general terms, is remember, no matter how good you are at something, you can always learn from other people. So whether it's somebody within your company that's subordinate to you, somebody that's senior to you, somebody that's a contemporary, it could be somebody just randomly on the street. The point is you have to have that kind of that growth mindset, the understanding that I don't have all the answers. And if I have all the answers, that's a real problem. And so, I think that mentality is important. We have, technicians that are amazing, but at the same time, they learn from each other and they're constantly trying to up their, certifications, and also understanding, because technology changes so rapidly anyway. If you think you know it, then things are going to pass you right by, and then you're failing basically. So.
Agreed. What does success look like for you in the next 12 months, man? Like, what are you pushing towards within the next 12 months, or what's something?
Success is expanding the clients that we have. So we're located in Austin is our headquarters, also Dallas, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Los Angeles. So we're trying to increase just clientele within those areas, but then also expand into other areas, probably like San Antonio, maybe out to Houston as well. So just looking to continue what we're doing in terms of just expanding the amount of clients that we have within the industries that we serve right now, because we feel very focused and really good in healthcare, law firms, education, architecture, construction, design, those areas. So bringing on new client every month through our outbound efforts, and then as and then we start bringing in inbound too from our website. We're refreshing our website, so that'll be coming out the end of January, early February. So we're really excited about that. We spent a lot of time kind of crafting something that's interesting, it's unique, and engaging for our clients. So we're really looking forward to that. Success also for me is expanding our presence with these podcasts, with webinars, and attending certain trade shows and associations. So really focused in on getting out there, because the last year we've been really focusing on profitability, kind of cleaning up internally, like our utilization rates being a little bit more effective for our clients. And so we've kind of stabilized that. Things are looking great right there. And so now we just kind of want to expand outward.
It's awesome. That's awesome, man. I love it. And I always, and I think that you guys, if there's anyone that's going to do it, you guys are going to do it, right? I think you guys, I think you have a great little mission statement and value proposition as well. So that's amazing, man. I think one of the last things that I kind of wanted to ask you, that I like to ask all my guests, is, what are some of the most important things that you've learned in your career that you think you would like to share with your audience?
Well, definitely going back to the you can learn from everybody or anybody aspect of things, because no one person has all the knowledge. And so that's really been critical. Getting to know the team and understanding their strengths has also been very important, because people want to be good at their job. And so if you see, I mean, I take this across the board throughout my career anyway. If people are not as effective as you think that they should be, it's generally because there's some sort of barrier to success that's probably, it could be you as a leader. So you always have to kind of question, am I doing the right thing by them? But also, are their talents matching with what you're trying to get them to do? So I always think about that. That's really important to me because we invest a lot in our personnel. And so we want to make sure that they're doing what they want to do and that they feel successful, that they feel in control of their destiny and their careers. And so we really try to focus in on making sure that everybody's doing what exactly specifically they're best at and what they're interested in.
Awesome. I love that. I think that is the number one piece of advice that I always tell everyone is self-awareness, right? Having that self-awareness to understand that you're not the best at everything, that you have to learn from the people that are better than you, that you can learn from people of all experiences and all sizes. Just because someone may be younger than you, or just because someone might be have less experience, doesn't mean that they can't teach you something. And so it's a phenomenal point, and I wish more people would sometimes maybe take the ego down a little bit and just humble, right? And just saying like, I'm open to learning. And I think that is the most important thing of what's going to drive your growth as a person and as an individual, right? Is to never stop learning. So
and we have a very collaborative, fortunately we have a very collaborative team. And so that's not something that we've had to kind of adjust culturally or anything like that. And so it kind of jazzes us because, we have people that are physically located in California. We have people that are physically in Wisconsin, and then in a couple locations in Texas. And so what's really great is we tie in very well culturally across the board. And so that's great. And we interact quite a bit through, teams, or some of the leadership flies out there, they fly here. And so we interact, quite frequently. So that's really great. So,
yeah. Well, awesome, man. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I loved hearing about your story and kind of what you guys are doing over there. But where's a good place, for people to contact you if they did want to work with your company, or they obviously just maybe want to, reach out to you directly?
Yeah. Integritech.com. If you can see, whoops, the wrong side, the spelling there, .com. Where we have reviews on clutch.com. And you can kind of see what our performance looks like there as well. My number is 512-717-4443. I will answer and talk to you. Looking forward to hearing from people that way as well. Please check us out, and then check out this podcast, of course. So, this has been great, though. I really appreciate the time.
No, of course. Thank you again. And thank you guys for making it all the way to the end. If you did watch it, make sure to maybe comment your favorite part of the podcast. So make sure to like that as well. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care. Thank you again, Ross.
Thank you. Take care.